Hi, I'm John Boder from Unix Surplus, and today we're going to look at our Supermicro Superserver based on E5645 6-core Intel processors with a whopping 192 gigabytes of memory in it. So let's take a tour of our Supermicro server. Everybody now is looking at cost per watt per megabyte. So we need to build with low power DDR3 16 gigabyte DIMMs. These DIMMs here, we use original Samsung for high quality. We still have the heat spreader on it for extended temperature range. But this gives you the lowest power per megabyte that you're going to find. Under each CPU heatsink, we have a 6-core, a hexa-core Intel 5645. We can also build it with faster CPUs if you want. This is 2.4 gigahertz. We find this is the E series at 80 watts per processor. Gives us a lot of value per the dollar, but it also has the speed step technology which will overclock your CPU automatically. So that's the CPUs and memory, which are really what's driving this whole machine. We also need to combine it with a little bit of storage, because localized fast storage is the real key. Because you need to have a good system with good fast memory, and you need to be able to get to your data on and off. So we start that with this LSI Mega RAID hardware RAID controller. This hardware RAID gives us 512 megs of SAS cached RAID. So this gives you a write cache that you can start to write any type of data straight to your cache and then do write through to your disk drives. This allows write caching because it has a battery backup right here. This allows write caching. Next step is the drives. We can build it with any drives you really care for. But most of our customers like the price and performance on these 450 gig, 15,000 RPM SAS drives. Gives a lot of performance, still very low wattage. These right here take about under 10 watts each, high spindle speed that are great for RAID. You have a lot of different RAID options. You can choose RAID 5, RAID 6. With these 450 gigs, you're going to get about 3 terabytes mounted with your database. So this is really good for database servers. If you want to go with the virtualization servers, you have a nice large database that's really fast with a hardware RAID backup, write cache, and you have a lot of memory, 192 gigabytes booted up. Supermicro is very good quality. It's a very simple system board with a single board here. You have lots of PCIe slots if you want to get into 10 gigabit Ethernet, fiber channel mounting, etc. Again, you can see how low power it is. It only uses 3 large fans. You only need 2 of them to actually run the system. And you have the SATA backplane. We can also go with we have cases that support more hard drives if you want to go to 12. This is real popular because you can put in the boot DVD here. You also have options for 2 other hard fixed mounted SATA boot drives. So if you wanted to go 2 SATA mirrored boot drives on the system board and then the disk array here for your data, you could do that. We also have a bunch of different power supply options too. So let's turn this thing around and take a look at the back of it. So in the back here we have optional redundant power supplies. Let's talk about how much power this thing uses. Right now it's only a 560 watt power supply, which is good enough to power the whole thing. Typically a lot of these servers used to be taking 2,000 watts of redundant power. This thing right here is so low power you're only going to consume normally about 300 to 400 watts. You have dual gigabit Ethernet and you have your IPMI Ethernet management. Serial console on the front and the rear of the machine, and you have external SAS if you want to go with external SAS for the hardware RAID. You have a total of 5 open PCIe slots for more gigabit Ethernet cards, 10 gigabit Ethernet, so you got a lot of I/O expansion. And you have onboard Ethernet right here, which uses Intel chipsets right now. So the whole system is Intel on Intel with an Intel main board, which makes drivers for it very easy to find. So let's take a look at the Supermicro system itself. Right now it's in high-speed fan mode, so it's a little bit noisy. But it starts out with a Supermicro logo. You can hit tab to hit the display. Every Supermicro goes through 2 boot processes. One is its initial boot, and then it reboots into IPMI for the first run. So right now we've seen that we got our Intel boot agents, and it's going into the LSI Mega RAID. The LSI Mega RAID allows us to do our configurations, and we can see right now that it supports virtual drives, and it tells you what's been mounted and what arrays we have created, and It also tells you what drives are physically attached in the boot screen. So right now it's going to go through and check through our NVRAM, and then it's going to go through all the Intel Gigabit Ethernet boot agents for a Pixie boot. Okay, so let's take a look at the system BIOS right here. Right here you see that it uses Supermicro X8 system BIOS. We have the 5600 6-core, 2.4 gigahertz processors with speed step that brings them up to 5 gigahertz. We have 98 gigs of memory installed. This system can go up to 192. I wanted to point out here a lot of the different nice features for remote management. You have here the full IPMI for Supermicro, which allows you to log, select everything via the IP port that you need to. You also can set the LAN configuration right here for a DHCP boot, set a fixed IP address or even a DHCP mask, so that you can boot off this stuff and manage your server remotely. The IPMI is very nice. Other nice things right here is the Super I/O, where you can redirect the serial port consoles between the front, the back, and the IPMI management as well. You see here, you know, it even has legacy floppy in there as well. As far as the speed step and the CMOS settings, it's actually quite reliably overclockable, this machine here. There's a lot of different settings in here from the Intel system and the Turbo Boost technology right here. Turbo Boost allows processor cores to run faster than marked frequency in specific conditions. So if it's not going to overheat, it'll allow it to do it. You have an ID and SATA onboard RAID if you want to have a dual redundant boot configuration. And you also have here remote access configuration, the serial port baud rates that you want to set for the IPMI. Typically it's set to a very high baud rate, and that works with a lot of terminal servers right now, 1152. So that's a tour of the BIOS features that come with this Supermicro system server. So each of these Supermicro servers we can either build custom for you, or you can pick us one of our standard configurations. They all come brand new with the box and this rail kit. The reason that you want to buy from Unix Surplus is our experience in building servers. Not only can you buy this server from us, you can get it pre-racked for yourself, you can get the terminal server configured, you can get gigabit Ethernet switches, everything you need. We can even go and install it in a local data center for you. We have a lot of customers that work with our hosting vendors as well to look to host. This machine, with the low power on a 100 megabit continuous bandwidth connection, you can host for about under $200 a month. If you're interested in leasing the machine from us as well, if you're a good credit client, you can lease this machine for under $600 a month. So that brings you to about $800 a month. And this is equivalent to maybe 16 to 18 EC2 large instances, with all-you-can-eat bandwidth and storage too, to the term with 3 terabytes. So a lot of our customers are finding it a lot more efficient to move off of EC2 onto their own clustered servers, because virtualized servers really don't impress under the load. They don't have the database or the I/O functionality that they want, and they don't have the large memory that you're going to want to need. So all of our servers here come with a 1-year warranty. And if you need any support questions, you can always reach us at support@unixsurplus.com or 877-UNIX-123.